Admiral Lucas Kane stared at the massive viewscreen in Earth Defense Station's command center. 3 months had passed since the most shocking news in galactic history reached Earth. The mighty Draconian Empire had vanished completely, not defeated, not destroyed, but simply gone without any trace. The station orbited Luna, Earth's moon, and served as humanity's first line of defense. Kane had commanded the station for 5 years, but nothing had prepared him for what happened that morning. The emergency communication from the Galactic Council still echoed in his mind. Commander Sarah Blake rushed into the command center holding a datapad. Her face was pale and her hands shook slightly. As Earth's diplomatic liaison, she had direct contact with alien governments across the galaxy. What she learned that day would change everything. "Admiral, you need to see this," Sarah said, placing the datapad on the central table. "The Galactic Council just sent us their final report on the Draconian disappearance." Kane looked at the data. The numbers were staggering. Over 3,000 Draconian vessels had vanished at exactly the same moment. These weren't small ships either. The fleet included massive dreadnoughts, each one capable of destroying entire planets. The flagship alone was 20 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to level a star system. "How does an entire fleet just disappear?" Kane asked. He had seen many battles during his career, but this was different. When ships were destroyed, there was always something left behind. Debris, radiation signatures, distress signals, something. But the Draconians left nothing. Sarah activated the holographic display above the table. A three-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared, showing the locations where Draconian ships had last been detected. Red dots marked 17 different star systems across their empire. They were spread across their entire territory, Sarah explained. Some ships were in deep space. Others were orbiting planets. A few were even docked at space stations. At 14:30 to Galactic Standard Time, every single Draconian vessel simply vanished. Kane studied the map carefully. The Draconian Empire had controlled 47 star systems. Their military was the most advanced in known space. Other alien species feared and respected them. The idea that something could make them disappear was terrifying. "What does the Council think happened?" Kane asked. Sarah's expression grew even more worried. "That's the problem, Admiral. They don't know, but they have theories, and none of them are good for us." She touched the datapad again. The holographic display changed to show Earth's solar system. Kane noticed something disturbing. Multiple alien fleets were gathering at the edge of their space. The timing is what scares them. Sarah continued. 6 months ago, the Draconians refused Earth's application for Council membership. They called us primitive upstarts who weren't worthy of joining the galactic community. Now they're gone, and everyone is looking at us. Kane felt a chill run down his spine. He understood the implication immediately. The galaxy's most powerful military force had dismissed humanity as insignificant. Then they vanished. 2 other alien species. This looked very suspicious. Dr. Elena Rodriguez entered the command center at that moment. She was Earth's chief xenoarchaeologist and had been studying alien cultures for 20 years. Her expertise in ancient civilizations made her valuable for understanding galactic politics. "Admiral, I've been analyzing the disappearance pattern," Elena said, approaching the holographic display. "I think I found something important." She manipulated the controls, and the red dots on the map began connecting with glowing lines. What appeared was a perfect geometric pattern stretching across multiple star systems. "This isn't random," Elena explained. "The Draconian ships didn't just vanish from arbitrary locations. When you map their positions in hyperspace coordinates, they form a precise mathematical structure." Kane stared at the pattern. It looked like some kind of ancient symbol or diagram. The precision was incredible. Each disappearance point was exactly where it needed to be to complete the design. "What are you saying, Doctor?" Kane asked. "Either this is the most incredible coincidence in galactic history, or someone planned this very carefully," Elena replied. "Something with incredible knowledge and power targeted the Draconian fleet. Specifically, Captain Jake Morrison walked into the command center just as Elena finished speaking. He commanded Earth's exploration vessel, the ESV Horizon, and had more experience with deep space than almost any human alive. His face was grim. "Admiral, we have a problem," Jake announced. "Long-range sensors are detecting a large alien fleet approaching our solar system. They're not broadcasting friendly intentions." The main view screen switched to show the approaching vessels. Kane counted at least 50 ships from different alien species. He recognized the distinctive designs of the reptilian hegemony and the insectoid swarm coalition. These were two of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy, and they were working together. "They're demanding immediate communication," Jake reported. "The fleet commander wants to speak with Earth's leadership within 1 hour. Sarah checked her diplomatic channels. "Admiral, I'm receiving similar messages from 12 other alien governments. They all want the same thing. They want to know what happened to the Draconians, and they think we're responsible." Kane looked around the command center. His crew was watching him, waiting for orders. Earth had barely developed interstellar travel. Their most advanced warships were no match for a single alien dreadnought, let alone an entire fleet. "How could they think we destroyed the Draconians?" Kane asked. "Our technology is centuries behind theirs." Elena was still studying the geometric pattern on the display. "Maybe that's exactly why they suspect us," she said quietly. "Think about it. The Draconians were so advanced that no known weapon could threaten them, so whatever destroyed them had to be something completely unknown, something new." The implications hit Kane like a physical blow. Earth was the newest member of the galactic community. Human technology was different from what other species used. If something unknown had destroyed the Draconians, then the strange humans with their unusual approach to science would be the obvious suspects. "Admiral," Jake said urgently, "the alien fleet is moving into attack formation. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast." Kane stood up and looked at his team. 3 months ago, humanity had been ignored by the galaxy. Now they were at the center of the greatest mystery in galactic history, and every alien species thought they were responsible for the impossible disappearance of the most powerful fleet ever assembled. The truth was out there somewhere, but first they had to survive long enough to find it. The alien fleet was coming, and Earth had very few options left. Ambassador Helen Carter stood in the main communication chamber of Earth Defense Station. The room was designed for diplomatic meetings with alien species, but today it felt more like a courtroom. On the massive screen before her, 12 different alien commanders stared back with expressions ranging from suspicion to outright hostility. The reptilian hegemony representative spoke first. His voice was deep and threatening. Translated by the computer into perfect English, "Ambassador Carter, the Galactic Council demands immediate answers. The Draconian Empire controlled 47 star systems. Their fleet was unstoppable. Yet they vanished completely, and you humans claim innocence." Helen kept her face calm, despite the fear growing in her chest. She had been Earth's top diplomat for 8 years, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. "Commander Vexcaler, I understand your concerns, but humanity lacks the technology to threaten even a single Draconian ship, let alone their entire fleet." The insectoid representative from the Swarm Coalition clicked its mandibles in what Helen recognized as disagreement. "Your species appeared from nowhere 50 years ago. Your technology follows patterns we do not understand. Perhaps your weakness is an act." Captain Jake Morrison entered the communication chamber. Quietly, he had been preparing his ship, the ESV Horizon, for a dangerous diplomatic mission. The alien fleet commanders had agreed to allow one human vessel to approach their formation, but everyone knew it might be a trap. Helen noticed Jake's arrival and nodded slightly. "Commanders, Captain Morrison will bring our top scientists to demonstrate Earth's actual capabilities. Dr. Lisa Park, our leading physicist, has prepared detailed scans of our technology." The blue-skinned Aquarian delegate leaned forward. "We will examine your evidence, but many species believe you have developed a weapon beyond our understanding. The timing is too convenient. The Draconians reject your council membership. Then they disappear." Jake stepped forward with respect. "Commander Title Song, if we had such a weapon, why would we reveal it by using it on the Draconians? It would make more sense to keep it secret." The alien commanders began arguing among themselves in their various languages. Helen used the moment to check the tactical display on her wrist device. General Rex Hamilton had been working around the clock to prepare Earth's defenses, but everyone knew they couldn't win a fight against the assembled alien fleet. After several minutes, Commander Vexcaler raised his clawed hand for silence. "Captain Morrison, you will bring your evidence to our flagship within 6 hours. Any aggressive action will result in the immediate destruction of your solar system." The communication ended, leaving Helen and Jake alone in the chamber. The weight of Earth's survival rested on their shoulders, and both knew the odds were not good. "Any word from our investigation teams?" Helen asked. Jake activated his communicator. "Lieutenant Ashley Brooks has been searching the asteroid belt for any clues. She found something interesting this morning, on the other side of the solar system." Lieutenant Brooks was examining strange metal fragments her team had discovered floating near Ceres. The pieces didn't match any known technology, human or alien. Under microscopic analysis, the metal showed impossible properties. "These fragments are made from materials that shouldn't exist," Brooks reported to her team. "The atomic structure is completely unfamiliar. It's like someone built these from elements not found on any periodic table." Dr. Kevin Smith, the team's xenobiologist, was studying old Draconian communication records in his laboratory on Mars. He had spent years learning their language and culture. What he discovered that day sent chills through his entire body. The final Draconian transmissions mentioned something called the Silent Watchers. The messages were fragmented and hard to understand, but Kevin could make out references to the price of expansion and voices from the void. They weren't just exploring randomly, Kevin muttered to himself as he translated another message. They were searching for something, or maybe running from something. Colonel Amy Foster commanded Earth's deep space reconnaissance from a hidden station beyond Pluto. Her sensors were the most advanced humanity possessed, capable of detecting objects at incredible distances. What she saw that morning made her question her own equipment. "Control, this is Deep Watch Station," Amy reported. "I'm reading massive gravitational distortions in the outer system. Something big is moving out there, but it's not showing up on any of our scanners except gravity detectors." Back on the defense station, Admiral Kane was coordinating all these investigations while preparing for the possibility of war. The alien fleet had grown to over 100 ships, representing every major power in the galaxy Earth had never faced. Such a threat. Dr. Lisa Park was loading her research data onto portable drives for the diplomatic mission. Her findings showed clearly that Earth's technology was decades behind the Draconians. Human ships could barely reach other star systems, while Draconian vessels could cross the galaxy in days. "Admiral," Lisa said, approaching Kane's command chair, "I don't think our evidence will convince them. The aliens are too scared to think logically. They need someone to blame for the Draconians' disappearance." Jake's voice came over the communication system. "Admiral, we're ready to depart for the alien flagship. But I have to tell you, this feels like a one-way trip." Kane looked around his command center. His crew was working frantically to prepare for whatever came next. Earth's fate would be decided in the next few hours, and there was nothing more he could do except hope. Just then, a priority alert flashed on every screen in the command center. Colonel Foster's voice filled the room with urgent news that changed everything. "All stations, this is Deep Watch. We have a survivor. Repeat. We have found a Draconian survivor drifting in an escape pod near the edge of the system. The pilot is alive but appears to be in some kind of shock." Kane felt his heart skip a beat. A survivor meant answers. Maybe they could finally learn what really happened to the mighty Draconian fleet. But as the escape pod was brought aboard their recovery ship, the survivor kept repeating the same terrifying phrase over and over. "They came from the void between stars. They came from the void between stars." The mystery was about to become much more frightening than anyone had imagined. Dr. Patricia Evans sat beside the medical bed where the Draconian survivor lay. The alien's reptilian features were twisted in fear, and his large yellow eyes stared at nothing. For 3 days, he had repeated the same words over and over. They came from the void between stars. Patricia was Earth's leading expert in alien psychology. She had studied the minds of dozens of different species, but this case was unlike anything she had encountered. The Draconian, who identified himself as Kreshvik, was completely terrified of something beyond normal understanding. Krushvik, can you tell me what you saw? Patricia asked gently. She had learned that speaking softly helped calm traumatized patients, regardless of their species. The Draconian's eyes finally focused on her face. When he spoke, his voice was barely a whisper. Doctor, your people do not understand. The silence does not destroy, it erases. My fleet never existed. Patricia felt confused by his words. What do you mean, never existed? We have records of your ships. Krushvik struggled to sit up in the medical bed. No, you have memories. But in the places where we were, there is nothing. Not empty space. Nothing. Like those places were never part of reality. In the observation room next door, Admiral Kane and Captain Morrison watched through a one-way window. The alien's words sent chills through both men. They had seen battles where ships were destroyed, but this sounded like something far worse. He's talking about more than just disappearing, Jake said quietly. He's saying they were removed from existence itself. Dr. Patricia continued her careful questioning. After hours of patient work, Krushvik began to reveal more details about what his people had encountered in the outer rim of their territory. His fleet had been exploring new star systems when they found something that should not have existed. We detected structures in deep space, Krushvik explained. But when we approached, the structures were not there. Our sensors showed empty space, but we could feel something watching us. Something that existed in the spaces between normal reality. Patricia recorded every word. This was the first real evidence about what had happened to the Draconian fleet. What did these entities want? They wanted us to stop, Krushvik replied. We had gone too far, expanded too fast, taken too much. The silence exists to correct mistakes. Meanwhile, in Earth's research division, Captain Ben Howard was studying the mathematical patterns that Dr. Elena Rodriguez had discovered. The geometric design formed by the Draconian disappearance points was unlike anything in known science, but when Ben compared it to Earth's latest theoretical work, he found something shocking. Elena, look at this, Ben said, showing her his computer screen. These patterns match our multi-dimensional mathematics research. The same equations we've been using to develop faster-than-light travel. Elena stared at the data. That's impossible. We only started working on this theory 2 years ago. How could something connected to our research affect the Draconians? Ben pulled up more files. What if it's not about affecting them? What if our research attracted the attention of whatever took them? In the engineering section, Ryan Clark was running diagnostics on Earth's newest quantum drive systems. These engines allowed human ships to travel between stars by creating small tears in spacetime. The technology was revolutionary, but Ryan's LATEST tests revealed something disturbing. Admiral Kane to engineering. Ryan called over the communication system. Sir, you need to see this immediately. Kane arrived within minutes, followed by several other senior officers. Ryan showed them the quantum signature readings from their latest engine tests. Every time we activate our quantum drives, we create a unique pattern in hyperspace. Ryan explained, the signature is unlike anything other species produce. And, sir, the pattern appears to be getting stronger. Kane studied the data carefully. What are you saying, Ryan? I think our quantum technology is sending signals into dimensions we don't understand. Something out there is receiving those signals and responding to them. The implications hit Kane immediately. If Earth's technology was attracting dangerous entities, then humanity might be responsible for bringing the threat to the galaxy. Not intentionally, but through their scientific advancement. General Susan Pierce arrived in the engineering section just as Kane was processing this information. Her face was grim, and she carried a data pad with urgent news. Admiral R. Deep. Space sensors have detected something massive moving through the void toward our solar system. Whatever destroyed the Draconians is coming here. Kane felt the weight of command pressing down on him. Earth's quantum experiments had apparently attracted the attention of entities that could erase entire fleets from existence. The alien forces surrounding their solar system weren't just suspicious anymore. They were terrified. How long until it arrives? Kane asked, based on current movement patterns. Approximately 72 hours, Susan replied. Back in the medical bay, Dr. Patricia had finally broken through Krushvak's trauma enough to learn the most important detail. The entities he called the Silence operated according to principles that normal minds could barely understand. They existed partially outside regular spacetime and could manipulate reality itself. They are guardians, Krushvik explained. They watch for civilizations that threaten the structure of existence. My people were developing weapons that could tear holes in spacetime. The Silence acted to prevent universal collapse. Patricia felt a chill as she realized the connection. Krushvik, what if another civilization was experimenting with similar technology? Would the Silence come for them too? The Draconian's eyes widened with understanding. Doctor, if your people are manipulating spacetime, then yes, the Silence will come. And when they arrive, Earth will face the same choice my fleet faced. What choice? Patricia asked. Krushvak's voice became even quieter. Submit to erasure, or find a way to prove your species deserves to exist. In the command center, Kane received Patricia's report about the conversation. The pieces of the puzzle were finally coming together, but the picture they formed was terrifying. Earth's quantum technology had attracted entities that could remove entire civilizations from existence. The alien fleets surrounding Earth weren't the real threat anymore. Something far more dangerous was approaching, and humanity had less than 3 days to figure out how to survive an encounter with beings that operated beyond normal reality. Kane looked at his crew. All departments, priority alert, we're about to face something that makes our current diplomatic crisis look simple. The real enemy is coming. Commander Danny Rogers stood in the emergency meeting room aboard Earth Defense Station. Around the table sat the brightest minds humanity could gather in 48 hours. The Silence was approaching Earth, and every conventional plan had failed. Danny had proposed something that made everyone in the room uncomfortable. We don't run. We don't hide. We don't fight, Danny said, looking at each person around the table. We talk to them. Admiral Kane shook his head. Danny, these entities erase the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. They don't communicate. They just remove threats from existence. But that's exactly why we need to try, Danny replied. The Draconians tried to fight or escape. What if no one has ever attempted peaceful contact? Dr. Michelle Torres, Earth's expert in quantum physics, had been studying the Draconian survivors' testimony for days. She looked up from her data pad. With exhaustion in her eyes, Danny might be right. According to Krushvik, the Silence operates on principles of quantum consciousness. They exist partially outside normal spacetime. Michelle activated the holographic display in the center of the table. A complex diagram appeared showing the theoretical structure of multidimensional space. Our quantum drive technology doesn't just move ships through space. It creates ripples in dimensions we barely understand. The Silence can perceive these ripples. Chief Engineer Alan Murphy had been working without sleep for 3 days. His team had torn apart Earth's most advanced quantum drive and rebuilt it. According to Michelle's theories, the modifications were dangerous and untested. Dr. Torres, are you saying we can actually communicate with these things? Alan asked. Not communicate exactly, Michelle replied. But our quantum technology might allow limited interaction with their realm. Instead of using the drive to move through space, we could use it to project consciousness into their dimension. Captain Jake Morrison had volunteered for what everyone knew was a suicide mission. His ship, the ESV Horizon, would carry the modified quantum drive directly toward the approaching Silence. If the plan failed, Jake and his crew would be erased from existence. The modifications are complete, Alan reported, but I have to warn everyone. One mistake could tear a hole in reality itself. We could accidentally destroy our solar system. The alien fleet commanders had been monitoring Earth's preparations through long-range sensors. When they learned about humanity's plan, their reaction was immediate and terrified. Commander Vexcaler's message came through the communication system with obvious panic. Humans, you must not attempt this madness. The Silence cannot be reasoned with. You will doom us all. Admiral Kane responded calmly. Commander, your fleets are welcome to retreat to a safe distance, but Earth will not abandon this attempt. What the aliens didn't understand was that humanity had already faced extinction. The silence was coming regardless of what Earth did. The only choice was between waiting for erasure or trying something unprecedented. Captain Donna Wright entered the meeting room at that moment. She was Jake's second-in-command and an expert pilot with more deep space experience than almost any human alive. Her face was determined but frightened. "Admiral, I've reviewed the mission parameters," Donna said. "Jake, I want to volunteer to take your place. If someone needs to make contact with entities beyond normal reality, it should be me." Jake started to protest, but Donna continued. "I've spent more time in deep space than anyone. I've seen things out there that can't be explained by normal physics, strange lights, impossible structures, areas where space itself seems different. Maybe that experience will help." The debate continued for hours, but eventually the decision was made. Donna would pilot the modified ship into the void between stars, where normal physics broke down and the silence existed. She would attempt something no civilization had ever tried: peaceful first contact with entities that could erase reality itself. 4 hours later, Donna's ship launched from Earth orbit. The quantum drive had been completely rebuilt. Instead of creating a passage through space, it would create a bridge between dimensions. Donna would enter the realm where the silence existed and try to establish communication. As her ship approached the edge of the solar system, reality began to change around her. Space itself looked different. Stars flickered in and out of existence. The normal laws of physics no longer applied. "Earth control, this is Captain Wright," Donna reported over the communication system. "I'm entering the void zone. Reality is flexible here. I can see structures that shouldn't exist." Admiral Kane listened to her reports from the command center. Every person on Earth and in the surrounding alien fleets watched their sensors. As Donna's ship disappeared from normal spacetime, for 6 hours, there was no communication. Then Donna's voice returned, but it sounded different, changed by her experience in the void. "Earth control, I have made contact. The silence, they are not evil. They are guardians. They protect the universe from civilizations that threaten to destroy reality itself." Kane felt his heart racing. "Donna, what do they want from us? They know about our quantum experiments. They know we're walking the same dangerous path as the Draconians. But they also know something else. They know we approach the unknown with caution and curiosity instead of greed and conquest." Through the modified quantum drive, Donna could perceive the silence as they truly were. They were ancient beyond measure, existing since the early days of the universe. Their purpose was to prevent cosmic collapse by removing civilizations that developed reality-threatening technology. The Draconians were developing weapons that could tear permanent holes in spacetime. Donna reported they would have unraveled the universe to win their wars. The silence had no choice but to act. Admiral Kane waited for the most important question. "Donna, what about us? What do they want Earth to do?" Donna's voice came through the communication system with a mixture of hope and fear. "They're offering us a choice, Admiral. We can abandon our quantum technology and remain safe but limited to our solar system, or we can accept a responsibility that no civilization has ever been offered before." "What responsibility?" Kane asked. "They want us to become partners, to use our unique connection to their realm to help monitor the galaxy, to prevent other civilizations from making the same mistakes as the Draconians." The weight of the decision pressed down on everyone listening. Humanity could remain a minor species confined to Earth, or they could become something unprecedented in galactic history. Guardians working with entities beyond normal existence to protect reality itself. Kane looked around the command center at his crew. The choice would affect not just Earth, but every civilization in the galaxy. The responsibility was enormous, but so was the opportunity. "Donna, tell the silence we need time to consider their offer. Admiral, they're giving us 12 hours to decide. The fate of humanity, and possibly the universe, depends on our answer." Captain Donna Wright returned to Earth orbit 12 hours later, forever changed by her experience in the void between stars. Her eyes held a depth that hadn't been there before, as if she had seen the fundamental structure of reality itself. The modified quantum drive had worked, but the cost was visible on her face. Admiral Kane met her in the docking bay personally. "Donna, are you all right?" She nodded slowly. "Admiral, I understand now why the Silence chose us. Every other species rushes toward advanced technology without thinking about consequences. We humans question everything. We worry about what might go wrong. That careful approach is exactly what the universe needs." The emergency session of Earth's leadership began within the hour. President Jana Collins had flown up from Earth to personally oversee the most important decision in human history. Around the conference table sat representatives from every major nation and organization on Earth. "Citizens of Earth, fellow leaders," President Collins began. "We face a choice that will define humanity's future. Captain Wright has returned. With the Silence's offer, we can remain on Earth, safe but limited, or accept responsibility for protecting reality itself." Dr. Carlos Rodriguez, head of Earth's Scientific Council, spoke first. "Madam President, the scientific implications are staggering. Working with the Silence would give us access to knowledge about the universe that no civilization has ever possessed. We could prevent cosmic disasters before they happen." General Susan Pierce represented Earth's military interests. "The security benefits are obvious. Instead of being threatened by advanced civilizations, we would become the galaxy's early warning system, but the responsibility would be enormous." Commander Sarah Blake, who had been monitoring communications from the alien fleets, provided an update that surprised everyone. "The alien species have been listening to our discussions. Their fear of humanity has completely changed. They're no longer seeing us as a threat. They're seeing us as potentially their protectors." President Collins looked around the table. "What are the risks if we accept?" Captain Wright answered from her personal experience. "Madam President, we would be forever changed. Humans who work closely with the Silence develop abilities that normal people don't have. We can perceive threats to reality itself, but we also become responsible for making decisions that affect entire civilizations." Dr. Michelle Torres had been analyzing the technical requirements. "If we accept, we'll need to establish monitoring stations throughout the galaxy. Our quantum technology will be modified to detect reality-threatening research anywhere in known space." The debate continued for hours. Some argued that humanity wasn't ready for such responsibility. Others believed this was humanity's destiny among the stars. Finally, President Collins called for a decision. "The vote is unanimous," she announced. "Earth accepts the Silence's offer. We will become the galaxy's guardians." Captain Wright immediately used the quantum communication system to contact the Silence. Their response was immediate and profound. Knowledge flowed into human consciousness like a river of cosmic understanding. Scientists across Earth suddenly understood principles of reality that had been beyond their comprehension moments before. Admiral Frank Morgan was chosen to establish the Guardian Corps, a new organization that would combine human personnel with volunteers from alien species. The former enemies, who had surrounded Earth with hostile fleets, now competed to join humanity's mission. Admiral Kane, Frank said during the organizational meeting, "We need to establish our first monitoring station immediately. The Silence has detected concerning research in the Rigel sector. Within weeks, the transformation was remarkable. Earth's defense station became the headquarters for galactic cosmic safety. The planet that had once been dismissed as primitive now hosted representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations." Dr. Eleanor Rodriguez established the Cosmic Safety Council, where alien species shared their research to prevent another Draconian incident. The irony was not lost on anyone. Humanity had gone from being rejected for council membership to becoming the center of galactic cooperation. The most surprising discovery came from studying why humanity had been chosen. Dr. Kevin Smith's research revealed that while other species developed technology through conquest or exploitation, humans had always approached the unknown with scientific curiosity and ethical consideration. "We ask, should we do this, before we ask, can we do this?" Kevin explained to a gathering of alien scientists. That moral approach to discovery is what makes us suitable guardians. Captain Wright, now bearing the title of First Guardian, established monitoring stations throughout known space. Human ships, designed with Silence principles, patrolled the galaxy's edges not as conquerors, but as protectors. The galaxy began to change. Species that had been enemies for centuries started cooperating on research projects. The fear of cosmic level threats brought civilizations together in ways that diplomacy had never achieved. However, the responsibility weighed heavily on humanity. First Guardian Wright often stood on the observation deck of the primary monitoring station, watching stars that might harbor civilizations, making dangerous discoveries. Her decisions could mean the difference between allowing scientific progress and preventing universal collapse. The hardest part, she explained to Admiral Kane during one of his visits, is knowing that sometimes we have to say no to entire civilizations. We have to tell them their research is too dangerous to continue. But there were rewards as well. Humanity discovered that their role as guardians opened doors to knowledge and experiences beyond imagination. They learned to perceive dimensions that other species couldn't see. They developed technology that worked in harmony with the fundamental structure of reality. The story that began with the mysterious disappearance of the Draconian fleet had revealed humanity's true purpose among the stars. They were not destined to be the galaxy's greatest warriors or its most advanced scientists. They were meant to be its protectors and guides. Years later, when new species achieved interstellar travel and discovered the galactic community, they found a universe watched over by careful guardians. Humanity had transformed from a primitive species seeking acceptance to the civilization that kept reality itself safe from those who would accidentally destroy it. The Draconian fleet's disappearance had been a tragedy, but it led to something unprecedented. For the first time in galactic history, the universe had protectors who understood that some prices were too high to pay for progress. Earth remained at the center of this new order, no longer as conquerors or supplicants, but as the species trusted, with the greatest responsibility imaginable, the guardians of existence itself.